Hello and welcome for those of you guys that are new here. My name is Grace, aka iamfallfromgrace, and I'm a full-time Twitch streamer. I was one of the lucky few that got chosen to go to West Virginia to play Fallout 76 early. In this video, I'm going to show you guys a combination of different things, from waking up in Vault 76 to PvP and crafting elements. Now, we only had 3 hours of hands-on time with the game. There is so much more I wish I could show you guys, but we played on the Xbox One X in 4K. I'm going to do my best to give you guys a big overview of what Fallout 76 is all about. Each different topic that I cover will have a timestamp down in the description below if you guys are looking for a specific aspect of Fallout 76. But to start with, guys, I'm going to leave you with the opening cutscene.
War never changes. In 1776, this great nation accepted that armed conflict was the only way to preserve our rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If our founding fathers could only see us now. From Antietam to Amiens, Okinawa to Anchorage, we have fought. And now, the Red Menace is at our doorstep. Democracy itself is under threat of annihilation. That is why today, July 4th, 2076, 300 years after our great nation began, we gather together to honor the completion of Vault 76. This sprawling underground shelter may have been engineered by Vault Tech, but it was built by you, the good people of America, so that if the bombs do come, if the end does come, our way of life will endure. But not everyone will be saved. Those chosen to enter this vault must be our best and our brightest. For when the fighting is stopped and the fallout has settled, you must rebuild. Not just walls, not just buildings, but hearts and minds, and ultimately, America itself. So as we stand here today, we pray that the world will know peace. But if that is not our destiny, if war must come, we stand together knowing that here in Vault 76, our future begins.
Okay, so here we are. Welcome to Vault 76. Fallout 76 is a prequel to all of the previous Fallout games. We are in the year 2102, 25 years after the bombs fell on America. Fallout 76 was occupied by 500 of America's best and brightest minds, hence the gold detailing on the vault suits. So now that we've got our Pip-Boy, let's move on through the vault. On your journey out of the vault, you'll be given a helping hand with some items and instructions on how to survive the post-apocalyptic world. One item that you may notice that is new is the camp, or Construction and Assembly Mobile Platform. I will go into more detail on the camp later when I talk about crafting. Now that we have exited the vault, it's time to join up with our friends and get out into the world. Joining up with your friends is really simple, which you can do with up to 3 other players. But don't worry guys, if you're anything like me and you like to be a lone wolf, it's totally possible to survive on your own. Now moving on to the character customization. The character customization is quite reminiscent of Fallout 4. You can spend as much or as little time on this as you want. Character customization isn't something that I'm going to go super in depth with, but obviously you can change a lot of different features of your face. You pretty much just scroll over the face, choose the element that you want to alter, and then go through the different options. But one thing that does differ in Fallout 76 is that you can alter your character's appearance and even their gender at any time during the game. Personally, I think they made this an option because in Fallout 76, your one character that you make is going to be something that you're building over a really long period of time, and being bound to that one face that you create at the very start of the game would be pretty annoying. So I think it's really great they made that possible to alter at any time. Moving on to special and perk cards. Now this is actually very different from the previous Fallout games. This is something I'm going to spend a little bit of time explaining because it's something that a lot of people were curious about. So let's get into it. Every level until level 50, you'll be able to assign 1 point to your special stats and pick a perk card. After level 50, you won't be able to increase your special stats anymore, but you'll still be able to unlock more perk cards. Bearing in mind that each special stat does have a perk card cap of 15. Now you'll notice that each perk card has an associated cost to it, which corresponds to your special. For example, you'll see that I have 2 strength, so I'll be able to assign 2 cards or 1 card with the 2-point value to that slot. Up to level 10, you'll get a perk pack every 2 levels, which contains 4 random cards plus a piece of gum and a dad joke. Now the cards that you unlock in the perk pack will be totally random. They also may be above your current level, but that does allow you to plan ahead for your character build. After level 10, you'll receive a perk pack every 5 levels. Now the best thing about this system, in my opinion, is the variety. The RNG aspect means everybody's build will differ slightly, especially in the beginning. You'll have to adapt with the cards that you've been given, and there are hundreds of different perk cards, meaning there will be a huge variety of different builds. The system also allows for your build to change throughout the game. You can swap the cards around at any time, but obviously they still need to remain within the special stats that you've assigned your points to. So if you have 10 strength and 2 perception, you're unable to put 10 of the cards into perception. It has to remain within your special stats. Hopefully that helps you guys understand special and perks a little more. With only 3 hours of hands-on with the demo, we didn't get to see a whole lot of different cards. We only got to like level 6 or 7, I think, during the demo. So I didn't see a huge variety of the cards, but I think the system is really interesting. And again, like the character customization, you're not bound to one set build. You can change it at any time. Moving on to the next topic, which is probably the most requested topic in Fallout 76, is the PvP. Now, obviously being Fallout's first ever online game, the PvP is going to be a huge mechanic, so let's talk about it. Once you reach level 5, combat with other players is enabled. Now, this is kind of a scary moment in game, and especially for me during the demo. I had friends in the other groups that I knew were going to come and try and hunt me down, so it was especially terrifying. As you can see from the graphic, there are 3 types of players: allies, strangers, and enemies. Your allies are your teammates or event mates. Now, event mates are people you're completing world events with. You can't damage these players, there is no friendly fire, so don't worry about accidentally killing a teammate. Strangers are people outside of your allies. You can team up with them, trade with them, or attack them. If a stranger is attacking you and you do not wish to engage with them, their damage upon you will be reduced. Think of it as a glove slap. Basically, they're walking up to you, shooting you in the face, equivalent of slapping you with a glove, I guess, and letting you know that they want to fight you. If you want to engage with that, simply attack them back and the game is on. That is when they become an enemy and there is no damage reduction on either side. If someone is attacking you and you are not engaging, if you just do not want any part of the PvP, it is a lot more difficult to kill you. However, if they persist and manage to take you out without you engaging them, they will become a murderer and they receive a bounty on their head. Once a player becomes a murderer, every single player on the map will see them as a little red star on the map, and players will receive a cap reward for killing them, which actually comes out of their cap stash. When someone becomes a murderer, every other player on the map will become invisible, making it a little more difficult for them to return and kill you over and over again. If you are killed from a PvP encounter, the only thing that you lose is the junk you've been collecting, so you can actually go back and retrieve it if you get to it before another player picks it up. It pretty much just looks like a little brown paper lunch bag. This mechanic is in place to try and mitigate griefers without being detrimental to those that do want to engage in PvP combat. Obviously, there will be players out there who don't want any part of the PvP, they just want to roll solo and progress through the quest without engaging, and I think this system works relatively well for those players. And on the other hand, there's going to be players that don't really care about the quest line, they just want to jump into the world and actually fight against other squads. I think it'll be some really interesting gameplay. So that's a pretty basic explanation of how the PvP works. The biggest concern that I received when I asked on Twitter and in my Discord was basically for those people that don't want to engage in PvP encounters, is it going to be annoying? Am I going to be able to ignore it and just move on with the quests? So hopefully that explanation helped you guys understand how it's going to work. Next up, let's talk about the combat and V.A.T.S. One of the biggest changes to the combat in Fallout 76 is the new real-time V.A.T.S. Now, obviously, being an online game, V.A.T.S has had to be altered accordingly. So instead of the traditional system of slowing time, it stays in real time, but it lets you target parts of your enemy. As you can see in the gameplay, I showed a variety of situations where I'm using V.A.T.S. You'll see the percentage adjust as the enemy is coming in closer or moving further away. In addition to the changes of V.A.T.S, the Pip-Boy is also slightly altered, being in real time. In the past, in other Fallout games, bringing up your Pip-Boy paused time, allowing you to heal, eat some food, drink some purified water, change up your weapons, do what you need to do. But again, being an online game, this has had to change. So to combat the whole not being able to pause time, there is now something called a Quick Boy, which you'll see that I can switch from on the fly. So instead of going through the animation of bringing up your character's arm to look at your Pip-Boy, it's basically the exact same HUD but in a transparent form on your screen. So my suggestion would be, if you do need to go into your Pip-Boy and adjust some things around, find a safe place, back yourself into a corner, bring up your Quick Boy so you can see any enemies incoming. Because we all know you can't pause an online game, so you're gonna have to be super careful when you are going in and out of your Pip-Boy or your Quick Boy. Moving on to another concern which a lot of people had, which was interacting with the world. A major concern for a lot of people is the lack of NPCs in the world to really drive the narrative. So for those of you that don't know, there are no human NPCs. All the humans in the world are player controlled. However, there are robot NPCs and a combination of collectible recordings and environmental storytelling to assist the player and give them what they need to progress through the quests and the story. It's definitely going to be different having to discover the story for yourself rather than being fed the story by the NPCs. I have faith in Bethesda. I think it's going to be definitely interesting. So we'll see how the story holds up. I just hope it has a lot of depth.
Hello. I come bearing an important question to you. Is your refrigerator running? Perhaps you did not hear me. I asked, is your refrigerator running?
One thing that I am certain of is there will be no lack of exploration to do. The map in Fallout 76 is 4 times the size of Fallout 4, and I only had 3 hours of the game, so I barely scratched the surface. Moving on to crafting and the camp. Now, as I mentioned previously, there is a new feature to Fallout 76, which is the camp, which stands for Construction and Assembly Mobile Platform. The camp can be used to build and craft anywhere in the absence of a dedicated workstation. Now, the workstations still exist in Fallout 76, but this camp allows you to be far more flexible. The camp also kind of acts as a storage unit. You can build stashes within the camp and put all of your junk, because in Fallout 76, you need to pick up every freaking thing. The crafting in Fallout 76 is also very reminiscent of Fallout 4, as you can see from the gameplay. Next up, I wanted to touch briefly on the photo mode. Photo mode is a nice little addition to Fallout 76. As someone who creates content, it is especially useful for creating thumbnails. Whether you're looking to get a nice, beautiful shot of the landscape, or a quirky, silly photo of your character with a specific pose or an expression, you can do that with the photo mode. You can adjust the contrast, the saturation, the brightness, as well as add filters. The camera is free as well, so you can kind of fly around and get different angles. It's definitely going to result in some really, really stunning shots from players. And finally, one of the coolest things that I got to experience with my very limited time with Fallout 76 was the player-controlled nuclear strike. This was the last thing that we got to see with the hands-on. They pretty much just told us to get to this platform, look out in the horizon, and prepare ourselves. Now, this feature allows players to gain access to nuclear silos, and you can target any area on the map to create a new environment filled with valuable resources. Obviously, we had super limited time with the game, so we didn't really get to check out the affected area for very long, it pretty much just killed us instantly because we didn't have hazmat suits or anything like that. But I think the feature is going to make for some incredibly interesting gameplay. I can't wait for the game to drop. I'm going to get myself a suit and I'm going to explore the crap out of those areas. And that's where I'm going to end the video today, guys. I've been speaking for far too long, but I really hope this video helps you guys and help provide some insight on what you can expect from Fallout 76. 3 hours of hands-on was nowhere near enough. It was an absolute tease. So I'm just dying to get my hands on the game again. I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comment section below on what you did like, what you didn't like, and any other concerns you may have about Fallout 76. I'll do my best to respond to you guys, but like I said, limited time, so much to see in such a short amount of time. There's things that I don't know about the game yet, and I'm just dying to explore more. If you guys do want to catch any more of my content and you are new here, definitely come on over to Twitch. I stream like 5 or 6 times per week. I will 100% be playing Fallout 76 when it comes out in beta and then when it comes out in full in November. But that is it from me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next one.